eat the mic, right? So we're going over the budget stuff right now and trying to get that ready and prepared. We've had one applicant come in, didn't meet the requirements. And school starts next Tuesday, the 13th, so beware, because my officers will be out there. Watch the school zones, and Vicky will be back
Okay.
Tuesday morning.
Good. Excellent. So, not to share anything with HIPAA, but Chief Gaines acquired an injury here in the building this past week, and we're taking steps to make sure that we don't have that as a happen again. That's all I can say for HIPAA. I'm sorry that it happened. She's gonna be okay. She sent me this really cool picture of her foot.
Taking steps, that's,
Yes.
Literally.
So, and I appreciate what you're doing. So, Chief,
Sir,
come on up.
There he is. I couldn't see him either.
I'll be quick. Whoever put together Chief Revis's award and plaque, I just want to say thanks as a citizen. That was you. I had no idea. That was cool. I think we all really liked it. I think the smile left good sense on everybody. They thought it was really nice. So, not as fire chief, as citizen, thank you for doing that. Thank y'all for doing this, and thanks to the Women's Club also. That was nice to see everybody hanging out, recognizing him. July was like average for calls. Obviously, we were busy with the 4th of July. We're up to, I'll send you this later today. I just finished it. We've had 80 medical calls, 69 fire calls, total training hours, 1,700, total volunteer hours, about 4,500. And then no promotions, no new members. We did do an extrication training, which is motor vehicle accident. How do you extricate somebody from a vehicle when they're stuck in it? We were able to do it in our department, in our bay. We now have connections at Proto, so they can deliver us and take away cars in the same day. So they showed up at 8 in the morning with 2 cars. We wrecked them inside our bay, and then they towed them out at 4 p.m., all in pieces. It was fun. So it saves us from having to go to TCC. It means we're in town and actually in the middle of training, we got a call. So all the the TCC instructors come to us. It's not like we're cutting Tarrant County out of it. They came to us because it was easier. So it worked perfectly, because in the middle we caught a call and we just pulled out the first out engine and went and handled our business, and the instructor stayed behind and kind of hung out and took a break, and then we came back. I guess the only word of advice I have right now is we're in the middle of like a really deep heat pocket, and many of us in Denton County fire chiefs are kind of starting to get concerned about just people doing things at their houses that might cause fires. I've been out of town the last few days, but on Thursday afternoon, there were 2 wildland fire calls in Denton County for people in their backyards or on their farmland. So just like when you're grilling, may not hurt to like have a fire hose out, or not a fire hose, but like your garden hose out, because if just some spark or ember flies underneath the vent and out to your grass, you might be surprised how quickly it can take off. If you've got firewood stacked by your house, move it away from your house. Just like the common sense things, just kind of look around. They always say watch the chains on your trailers, like if you tow things with all around Denton County, because that happens quite a bit. I can't remember who I was talking to just the other day, and that's exactly how the fire started. Somebody's chains were dragging, sparked, and then off on a fire. Anyway, that's just some of the common stuff. And the other thing I want to remind people, if you have some kind of first alert, bracelet, necklace, anything, make sure your account is updated so that they know who to call and where you live. Because we've had a couple calls where we got there and it wasn't the right spot because they hadn't updated their account. We can't help that. We just go where dispatch sends us, and dispatch is sending us where a first alert tells them to. So if you've got family members, I mean, even outside of, yeah, I'm worried about you guys, but if you guys have family members somewhere else, right, just call your parents and say, have you updated it since you moved? Because if they haven't, we're going to the wrong place, or wherever they live, they're going to the wrong spot, and then that we don't know what to do. And no one does. We call dispatch and they go, well, we don't know. So everyone's just standing there scared because they want to help and they can't. So that's my public service announcement for the day. Since I didn't have as much data, I figured I'd give some PSAs. Any questions I can answer while I'm here for y'all? Sir?
Yeah, I have a first alert,
Yeah?
and it went off at the airport,
That's right.
and 911 showed up to my house.
Yep.
So
That's the
it
limitation
doesn't have
of it.
GPS attached to it, right?
can't possibly keep up with all the different types of first alerts and all the other systems that there are. That's, we have to look into them with what they can provide. I've never looked into it, but I'm guessing there's probably levels of access, like, well, we can either, you have to push it, or if you stumble and fall, this happens, or, so I would look into it, cause yeah, what happens if you go on vacation?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a good point, right? Let your loved ones know that, like, what happens if you're not home?
Okay.
But it's really disconcerting when we get there and the person who lives there now is like, oh yeah, well, they're the ones we bought the house from. Oh, anyway. Other questions?
Do you think Denton County will issue a burn ban?
I'll have to look at the weather for the next week or two. I know I was gone, where I was, it wasn't supposed to rain, and it rained hard for like 5 hours. It surprised everybody. I was at Lake Palo Pinto, west of here. And I understand it rained here a little while. That'd be Saturday night, or was it Friday night?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was enough to like knock it down or not.
I got .08 in my range.
So we heard hundredths of an inch kind of a thing.
But
But I'd have to look and see how dry is it gonna be, how windy is it gonna be.
if they do issue, we'll immediately get something out. And
Okay.
we won't even wait, we'll put it in a special update.
Okay.
So everybody knows what's going on. Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, I'm gonna head to my trainings. We're doing maintenance and then we are refreshing newer people on what to do in wildland situations, so I wanna be over there for that. All right, have a good night. If something comes up, Mayor, just text me or call me. and I can
Okay,
come back
cool.
over.
Thank you.
Thank you all. See you.
Roads Committee.
We don't know who has it.
Oh, that's right, it's coming up here in the next session.
In the next
All
session.
right. And Drainage Committee, I'm gonna take that one for right now. Randall and I we're gonna get that, stuff ironed out with half, and then we're gonna get with you, Mike, and then while you start to build that out, but we're gonna be there to help you as well. All right, item 5, new business agenda. Discuss, consider, and act on appointment of town council liaisons to remaining council boards and committees. Presentation by Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Pat Wellman.
Okay, so we talked about this a little bit last time, just to see if anybody was willing to give anything up. Because the only one that's vacant, the Roads Committee, which was formerly, Councilman Hilliard had that. So that's vacant right now. In our discussion, Councilwoman Favara said that she was willing to give up ordinance review committee. I don't know if anybody else has had time to think about if they wanted to put any of theirs up for consideration. Okay, so Janet, and you two can talk amongst each other and decide what y'all want to do.
Yes, I didn't know if you wanted to.
I'll take ordinance if you wanna do roads, because I know roads was a big one, like we both talked about roads, so. I'll yield roads to you, because you come
I drive the roads a lot.
You drive the roads a lot.
I do.
I fly the air a lot, so.
On the road.
Okay, so.
Ordinance review, I'll take.
Okay, I'll move you to ordinance review committee, and I will move Rivera to roads committee. Okay, and I'll get that to you, Lynn, and I'll update that we no longer have a 50th anniversary committee either, since that was taken off at the last meeting as well. So I'll get those updates to you. I just want to remind everybody that as you're on these, please make sure they're active, and that you get with whoever the chairman is in each of the committees and start acting on them, because we really need to make some progress on all of these things. And, so I need to have, we need to do a motion, don't we?
I was just gonna.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, we need to do a motion?
So here's what I'm just gonna call it out. So we've got discuss, consider, and act on appointment of town council liaisons to the remaining council boards and committees. What was just discussed here is that Councilperson Favero is going to take the roads committee chair, and Councilperson Robertson will take the ordinance committee chair. So council, I need a motion to include the names and the positions. Have I?
I can do it. Let me make sure I read here. All right, so I move to act on the appointment of town council liaisons to the remaining county boards and committees, where the changes from previous would be that Ordinance and Review Committee would be Ms. Robertson, and that the Roads Committee would be Councilperson Rivera.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilperson Dietrich and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Courtney. Lynn, could you please call the vote?
Mr. Dietrich,
Aye.
Ms. Robertson,
Aye.
Ms. Wallen,
Aye.
Mr. Gordney,
Aye.
Dr. Favero.
All right, item 12 passes, thank you. Item 13, discuss, consider, and act on accepting the 2024 certified appraisal roll received from Denton County Appraisal District. Presentation by Lynn Jones.
Okay, so this is the certification as we have received that we were supposed to by July 25th. As the mayor and I both found out, there's a different way of looking at how we're going to certify the tax roll and what the actual is going to be, which he has worked on numbers. But this is what comes from Denton County. These are their numbers as to what everything is. There's still some that are underneath ARB review, meaning protests. So this is not the final. What will be finalized is when we give them whatever our tax is going to be. I will give that to Denton County, and then they will certify our certified totals. So this is the numbers, like I said, from Denton County. It gives you all the information about how many are protesting and how many have exemption breakdowns, and it pretty much gives you a breakdown of everything.
So what this is, council and citizens, this is all public knowledge. It's basically our certified totals for the town of Double Oak in terms of how or what amount we choose to budget for, what rate we want to utilize. That will come up in the next item because we do have to declare at least the worst case scenario rate. But basically, this is just certifying that the totals that were provided to the town of Double Oak are exactly what they say they are. So this is a formality that has to be done every budget season. Any questions? If you really want to get into this, it's some really great math.
Yeah.
None of it adds up, but.
That's what I noticed.
So with that said, is there a motion to act on accepting the 2024 certified appraisal roll received from Denton County Appraisal District?
A motion to certify the 2024 appraisal roll provided by Denton County.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilperson Robertson, and we have a second by Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Wallen. Lynn, can you please call the vote?
Ms. Robertson,
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich,
Aye.
Mr. Gordney,
Aye.
Dr. Favero. Aye. Ms. Wallen.
Aye.
All right, the tax rolls have been approved by the council, and we'll be getting back with Denton County on our paperwork we have to do there. Item 14, discuss, consider, and act on the proposed ad valorem tax rate. Presentation by Lynn Jones.
Okay, so a lot of figures on this one too. This comes, the tax rate calculation worksheet, which is the big one, comes from Denton County, comes to us, and basically we're certifying what they're saying is true, which means that I went over every single number and I certified that what they're saying is true. And it was true. And that is a lot of math there.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
So what this comes down to is when you're looking at page 10, you're going to come up with a no new revenue tax rate, which means when you say no new revenue, it's basically a tax rate that would produce the same amount of taxes if applied to the same properties taxed from last year to this year. So you're basically not making any more revenue off of that. Where you're making revenue is when you have people doing remodels or houses being built, or because they have put higher taxes on, they put property taxes higher on certain properties. That's where you get your new revenue from. The next rate is going to be the voter approval tax rate. And you can see that that is a max of 0.198723. Now that tax rate is a calculated maximum allowed by law tax rate without a voter approval. So, we don't wanna go lower than the no new revenue rate, which is the 10168,777. We don't wanna go higher than the voter approval tax rate, the 198,723. We wanna be a little bit lower than that. But when I say that, that doesn't mean that's the tax rate we're doing. That's as high as we can go. So that's when you get into your budget process, you see what type of monies are needed, you look at all different kinds of tax rates in there, you see what's gonna be suitable for what's needed, and that is what is voted on after there's a public hearing, and the citizens are allowed to come, and that's a tax rate that you vote on. We go on this tax calculation sheet, you'll see that I went a little bit lower than the voter approval tax rate, because we had to come up with one, and we don't wanna cut ourselves short. But we can go all the way down to the 168,777. This is not setting us into a tax rate by doing this, okay? And the munis rate is something that if you have under 30,000 people and you are a small taxing unit and you have maybe some extraordinary costs and you need extra money for, you can do this. It's the sum of the unit's no revenue M&O rate. So on this, you've got an M&O rate, which is a maintenance and operation rate, which is what we do. That's how we maintain the town, that's how we run the town. We do not have interest in sinking, that is a debt rate. We have a no debt rate whatsoever. So that's why that's blank. So our proposed tax rate on this is 198,703, and that is just proposed. That does not mean that's what we're doing. Okay?
That was awesome.
That was
Thank
pretty
you.
good.
Very good.
That's the worst.
That's the worst.
That's the worst.
We do this every year. We pick something a little less than the voter approval tax rate. That is the worst. Now, council, this is when we get together, or you get together with the town treasurer, and we start to build out what that tax rate looks like. And we always start at the no new revenue rate, and we'll work backwards from there. Our no new revenue rate this year is really, really low, folks. We at this moment, I couldn't even tell you if we thought we could make it or not, but that's where we're starting. So we're looking forward to getting the numbers from the units inside of the town administration, and we'll plug them in, and that's when we begin to figure out what we can do, where we need to cut, where we need to spend more. It's kind of an exciting process. So our town treasurer, Laura, I'll be working with her, and basically she'll be kind of picking it up and taking the ball from there and doing it, but I'll ride shotgun with her all the way through this. So thank you, Lynn, that was an outstanding presentation.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Do you happen to know what the rate was last year?
Yes,
178.
it was 178 something.
Okay.
178.
And by the way, you'll get a first copy of the spreadsheet. I'll be sending it to you. I've literally got every year for, I think I've got like 8 years of stuff in it. So you're gonna be able to look at it. Because I learned some stuff today in talking to Denton County that we always thought we had to pull a cell. This cell here was the only thing we could plug in. She said, I wouldn't use that cell. So she gave me some guidance on that. So I was pleased to hear that. So there will be a lot of information that you'll all have as we start this. And then, of course, we'll be bringing it to the town with our, we will have a workshop at some point, town, so you'll be invited to that, as well as then we have our public hearing. So a lot of work to do, a very compressed time frame. We'll make it happen, and I appreciate everything that everybody is gonna do to make this a smooth process. With that said, then I gotta get back over here to business. Any questions on the tax rate? All right. Is there a motion on the discuss, consider, and act on the proposed ad valorem tax rate?
So I move that we act on the proposed ad valorem tax rate not to, I did get a not to exceed, right? Is that what I have to do on there? Not to exceed, make sure I do this right, 0.198703.
Second.
I thought I wrote down the right thing.
I think I heard a second before I asked for a second.
We're all in.
Waiting on it.
All right, we have a motion by Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Wellen and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Courtney. Lynn, can you please call a vote?
Ms. Wallen,
Aye.
Ms. Robertson,
Aye.
Dr. Rivera,
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich,
Aye.
Mr. Gordon.
Aye.
Thank you. Item 15, discuss, consider, and act on appointing Cassandra Gaines as the interim chief of police for the town of Double Oak. So I just wanted to say a couple words here on that. I met with Chief Gaines, what, a week ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. We had a great meeting. So she's already doing things. She didn't wait, she started to do things. So this is an interim level, because we will do a formal search for this position. I want to make sure that we do not create any bias in this situation. Chief Gaines has had experience going through this process, to where she's fully aware of what we're going to do. I've met with the police department on 2 different occasions to let them know. So council, on the next meeting, I'll come back to you with a request for some funds to hire an outside firm that will background check, handle all the resumes. We'll set up a committee. I think it's a committee, right? That
Chiefs.
yeah, the committee of chiefs, and they will do all the work on finding our new police chief. And this way, it's out of the mayor's hands, it's out of the administration's hands. I'm super excited for Chief Gaines. She obviously has a great opportunity at this position, but we're gonna do it, we're gonna take the bias out of it. All right? Anything you wanted to add there?
I'm good.
So, in voting her in as chief of police this evening, what takes place is she will assume full duties. She's kind of already been doing it anyway. And she will also receive the pay of the chief of police, just so you all know what's going on. So she will be not just acting, not interim, she will be the chief of police for Double Oak starting tonight, once the vote is in. I expect the vote to come in unanimously. With that said, questions, council? Everybody understands the process we're going to use, so I'll be back to you next meeting with the request. Okay? Is there a motion to act on the appointing Cassandra Gaines as the interim chief of police for the town of Double Oak? Is there a motion?
No, you go for it.
All right. I move that we appoint Cassandra Gaines as the interim police chief for the town of Double Oak.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion by Councilperson Dietrich, a second by Deputy Mayor Wellen. Lynn, could you please call a vote?
Mr. Dietrich,
Aye.
Mr. Gordon,
Aye.
Ms. Robertson,
Aye.
Ms. Wallen,
Aye.
Dr. Rivera.
Aye.
All right, the item passes, so, Lynn, we just gotta change the paperwork in the system, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that'll happen tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
And, let's check your first paycheck just to make sure it all gets in there, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
What a way to start, right? With a boot.
Hey,
Could have been worse.
when I heard about it, I was like, oh my God. So as long as you're okay,
I'm good.
that matters.
You're a step up the ribbon.
Just,
Everybody else.
I'm gonna steal a little of her thunder. So we had this room back here that had a lot of stuff in it. It wasn't being utilized. As you know, our officers, they go out, they patrol, things happen, they come back, they need a place to change. So Chief Gaines came to me immediately and said, hey, what do you think about if we clean this room out and we got some lockers? We now have an official locker room for our police officers. And that is all the Chief Gaines. The only thing I asked is, obviously we have females and males on the police force. I needed to make sure that we had the proper lock on the door, which she installed this week. So it is very nice back there. It is very nice, outstanding job. She also has come to me with other ideas. So this is what's really cool, is that creativity doesn't stop. And so I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Me too.
Item 16, discuss, consider, and act on a 3-year firewall license renewal through Datamax. We had Brian's on here is the presentation. It really isn't a presentation. Our firewall licenses are up, and this is the renewal. And since it's over a certain amount, we had to bring it to council. Any questions on that? We kind of want to keep the firewall thing going. So I know Brian would appreciate that. So any questions on that? You all saw the amount and the invoice and all that?
And that's already in the budget, correct, from this year?
That would have been in this year's budget
year's
from
budget.
last year's budgeting process, yes.
I move to act on the renewal of the 3-year firewall license through Datamax.
Is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion by Councilperson Robertson and a second by Councilperson Vera. Lynn, can you please call a vote?
Mr. Robertson,
Aye.
Ms. Wellen,
Aye.
Dr. Favera,
Aye.
Mr. Courtney,
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich.
Aye.
All right, the 3-year firewall license renewal passes. Brian, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Old business, item 6, item number 17. Discuss, consider, and act on HAP's mill and overlay 2024 cost evaluation. Randall Anglin, you're on.
Okay, so just as an update, the last meeting that we had, we were brought a hefty budgetary proposal of about a little over $1.1 million, and so we had to fix that. Our current budget that we have is at
You put
400.
anything up?
I'm sorry.
You putting anything up?
No.
Okay.
Our current budget that I explained to y'all last time was a max out of $431,000. So I went back to half and proposed and let them know the specific, there's 2 roads in particular that I really was pointing out. One of them was Kings Road with a change to it for not to add a full depth repair for the complete part of the project, but the problematic area. And then just a simple mill and overlay extension for the remainder of the area that they actually had proposed on the actual plans. The other one was at Twin Lakes Drive, where we have a almost 4-inch deficit, where we have a drop in the road. Those 2 have to be done. Those are major traffic areas, and they're the most damaged sections between all of the roads that we actually have currently. So I told them, with that being stated, any of the other roads, they could put it in the proposal, but we were looking at a not to exceed amount of $430,000 is what I explained to them. And so they divided it up and sent back the 2 proposals which you have at this time. I will state that the staff recommendation is for the proposal that includes Kings Road. In that, only one of them could include Kings Road because the amount of the cost added on top of the other proposal for Twin Lakes would put us over if we were trying to add roads in. So the cost that they put on that proposal was a total of $420,000 for that specific proposal. That's the one that I'll be recommending for staff proposal for that amount. The other came in at $430,000 and had one less road actually in it. So we're getting more bang for the buck on the $420,000 than we would have on the other. And that will include Kings Road as well as the Twin Lakes Drive. Now, with that being said, just to kind of cover what is inside that proposal, they also made the adjustments, as I had stated previously at the last council meeting, for the project items 1 through 4 at a total of $58,850. That was actually way over that previously. We were looking at several $100,000. And that's what I was initially letting y'all know, that would drop when we actually went to looking at the roads. The safety devices that would be put in place would reduce because we're not covering as much territory. The project assignment work and the amount of cost that they would put into that also would reduce. So with that stated, this would include, for the staff recommendation, would be Kings Road, Lake Trail Drive, and at the intersection of Valley View Drive, the Oakview Drive, Twin Lakes Drive, with the contingency added for the drainage in the event that we end up needing to make drainage repairs. So that would also be inclusive of that. So that's a total price inclusive of that. And then added alternative also at the Valley View and Lake Trail Drive, because both of those show deficits in the area where our culverts are crossing under the road. And so I made sure that they included that as a part of the proposal. We're talking about head walls, installation, RCP, reinforced concrete pipe being installed, and the safety. And so this is that's inclusive of that price. So I just wanted to make sure we don't.
So both of the alternatives are included in that fourth one?
Yes, because these two particular streets that are in this are requested for that in the event that they have to replace it and they find deficiencies in that. We feel confident that that's more than likely what's gonna end up happening, so I made sure that they included it in the price. In the event that they get in there and they find that the pipe is perfectly fine, then of course I would let y'all know, and then ultimately it would be at a less of a cost. And then we would look at next year moving that funding that we would have for that remaining balance over into that part of the project for the mill, or for the roads, mill and overlay projects, and so that we would recoup that, and then we could look at that next year as far as adding that on to what we have for next year's budget.
What was their time estimate for completion on, there's Kings Road is a highly traveled road, what's the time estimate?
So I can tell you that based on our last projects, depending on the company we get, mind you, Peachtree was awarded the contract last year. No road that they did was under 1 day. I mean, they were literally laying back same day. So they did it in 1 week, all the roads that we had requested. Now, those did have some full depth repair in those. We had some sections that were full depth repair for a majority of it, and they did do those repairs. On this particular project, in regards to Kings, we're not looking at drainage there. We're just looking at full depth repair. So that would be something that I would assume it would be the same. They would rip it out and put it back the same day. But mind you, they would be moving traffic control from one side to the other. We're not talking about shutting down the whole road and blocking everybody off. It would be one side at a time with traffic control devices and flaggers on site. We would also indicate that well in advance on our town website, and that email, if you're signed up as a resident on the email communication, please make sure you do, because those communications go out when we update the website. That also goes out to those who are on our listing, and so that would be included in there as well. So typically when they're doing mill and overlay and full depth repair outside of the Twin Lakes, if they end up going into culvert repair, those usually typically happen same day in most cases. So.
And last year, our bids actually came in lower than this estimate by Half and Associates last time, if I remember correctly.
So the bid actually was spot on. When they finalized the project, they found that when they pulled out, they actually didn't need to do full depth repair. And so these are indicators based off of estimates looking at the road on top of surface. When they open it up, we find out more. And then in a lot of cases, they make adjustments. And so Peachtree last year, they pulled off at least half of their full depth repair requests and said, we don't need a full depth repair. Yeah. And so we came back with a much less amount. Yeah.
Okay.
So if y'all decide to move forward with it, I'll state this just to clarify one more time. The staff recommendation is for the amount of $420,000 for that specific bid. So it would be option 1.
I believe when this came up, when we postponed this item, we had done some math, your council had done some math in terms of where we were gonna pull the funds from. And I believe that there was SLFRF funds that were gonna be used, as well as then street and drainage funds that were gonna be used. Did I get that right, council?
That's what we were talking
Yes.
about.
And the reason why we only have until the end of next year to utilize the SLFRF funds. And I think if we try and tack that onto anything other than our roads, which is legal to do, we're gonna run out of time, and we don't wanna run up against the clock and not have these funds allocated correctly, because we don't wanna bring any of that heat toward us as well. So I think from a timing perspective, that would be good. So I have the balance sheet from the 30th. Do we have to where we can see what's actually in the street and drainage fund and the?
For the balance sheet?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't have that.
okay.
But it did look like, did you notice that, Kings Road one, it was like half the price as last
Sure.
time?
Well, we cut out,
That was because of the correction. So the previous estimate was for full depth repair, the whole entire project, okay? And so council came back and said, hey, granted all of that, and especially the mayor brought it to everyone's attention, hey, we do have the Denton County project coming up. Can we do corrections and repairs of a mill and overlay and then do the immediate area of safety concern at a full depth repair, which I went back to half and I said, hey, let's just evaluate it for that section as opposed to doing full depth repair for the entire area. And that's what they came back with. That's the reason it dropped significantly, because we're not doing a full depth repair the entire length of the entire project.
So, council, the SLFRF fund as of June 30th had $270,715 in it. Our street and drainage fund had $450,000 in it. But I think didn't we use some of the funds for the mill, or not the mill overlay, the crack seal, geez.
Yeah, so the last time, so the budget that I looked at on the last go round, and we haven't used any of it, was for the roads is $158,702.52. So $158,702.52. So with a combined of that roughly came out. I told them not to exceed at 430.
Right.
It ends up being at 431 and some change, with SLFRF combined with
Correct.
roads. Okay, so I just want to preface with that. So at this point, the not to exceed, and we're still coming, even with option one, which takes care of the main roads, we're looking at 420 is what they're proposing. So, and we may come back with less when they open up the roads and do the repairs, or the pipes are not needed as far as the culverts replacement. But as of right now, option one.
So if I get this correct, it's the 270 from SLFRF and the 158,702 makes the 420.
It'll be more than that, but I put it at 430.
Okay.
It was 431 and some change last time we were talking about it.
So are you asking for a not to exceed 430, or are you asking for it not to exceed 420? If we go with.
I think the wisest thing to do would be a not to exceed 430 and give them room to move around if there's anything that's unforeseen. But as of right now, the budgeted item for the option one package that they put in is for 420.
And also, like I'm telling you, that thing that Mark Dietrich was talking about, that pothole on Kings Road, that can't wait till next year.
Right.
That's a big I don't know if we can, like, if it's not to exceed, maybe we can, if we have extra, we
Well,
can
we may
send
have
it
to
or
get
something like
some
that.
temporary
That's
patches.
magic that he takes out there and
It's-
dumps in.
It's very deep.
So just one other, I was looking at the balance sheet, one other point of clarification. It looks like we hadn't spent any money yet on the cracks and potholes of the 55,000.
No, we did. We already
Yeah,
actually
we already
cracked seal
spent
for the year. That's just not removed from there, but we actually already did do crack seal for the year.
Okay, so that's already done. All right.
There are some entries that did not get logged
Okay.
over the past months, and so we're working on getting those audited and logged.
No problem.
Just so you know, it has been spent though.
I'm just.
They did crack seal. Yeah, we did crack seal for the
There
year.
will be, in one of the next two meetings, we will be coming in with every year typically the town will move fund balance funds. Sometimes we use them in the budget. We have to move some funds in, we move some funds out. We will have a whole list of those for this council to approve by the time we get budget done. We're still auditing out some things that we're finding some anomalies that we have to reconcile first before we step in and do that.
So there wasn't so we do have between the leftover in the
Yeah.
road repair budget plus the SLR.
Yeah, those two funds hadn't really been touched. These are other funds that we.
So we found the money available to.
The money is there, yeah.
I
Thank
was
you.
just gonna say, the street and drainage fund, 158,
Mhm.
and then the road fund, you're looking at 270, that puts you just short, 430, so.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Well, and I think that was the math we did
Okay,
2 or 3 weeks ago.
okay.
Other questions, council? And we can get this work started like soon?
so once y'all approve this, then we're gonna send it out for
For
bid,
bid.
and then immediately thereafter, then we can set a date for the
We'll
contract.
come back with the bids and then we'll move it
And
through.
after the bid, we can get all this done before the weather changes.
that's what I'm hoping for, get it done right now, and I'll get it done as soon as possible. It really goes off of the bid, is what it really comes down to, but we were really quick on that last time, so we just need to get it before then to get it up for bid.
I move that we approve the half mill and overlay 2024 option 1 not to exceed $430,000.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second by Councilperson Dietrich. Lynn, can you please call the vote?
Mr. Courtney.
Aye.
Ms. Robertson.
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich.
Aye.
Ms. Wellen.
Aye.
Dr. Favero.
Aye.
All right, the item passes. So just as a reminder, citizens as well as council, we still have to approve the bids and then later the council for meeting. So this is just a step in the process.
And we probably can do that at the next meeting. I'm just asking. No. Okay.
Not by the next meeting, because we have to put it out in circulation.
No, I'm
And then, just a valid question, the answer's no.
Yeah.
Definitely not by the next.
Well, Lynn
meeting.
answered no
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Well, we're on the same page, yeah, definitely no, because you have to put it out in general circulation and let everybody know so that they have an opportunity to bid for the project, so.
Mayor Pro Tem is working on getting gavel tonight, I think. I'm just kidding.
It's a short night.
All right, item 7, citizens, we're going to go into a closed session pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Section 551.074, personnel matters. The town council will meet in closed executive session in accordance with the Texas Government Code. We will be doing that to deliberate the appointment and consideration for the employment of a town administrator. It is now, it happens to be 8 o'clock. So you're welcome to hang out. We still have snacks. Think about this. We have snacks during our closed session. That's not going to happen now.
And you better get them fast.
Exactly.
We're going to start cleaning up.
So council will go ahead and convene to the back and we'll go through this. I'm thinking maybe 30 minutes or so. It all depends upon how this candidate handles this council.
Just for
Anything, you're coming in?
Randall,
The normal pain in the head, what's happening with my property. Okay, Sandy said she told me that I think it's my property. Okay.
I'll do it, I'll have another conversation with her.
Now, she didn't tell me that tonight.
We'll let them
She
get
told me
seated.
that-
We'll see which hot seats are.
I mean, I'm not gonna bring it up to council, but I asked, I'm not gonna be a trainer.
Come on back.
I asked somebody to bring it up to training.
You saved us all. He said she did that, other than you mentioned that other road. I read that one and I liked it. I like it too. It's just very long.
I'm just going to grab a liquor.
it was quite long.
Yes.
Good borrow, Cheryl.
Good.
Work it out. Figure it out. You're telling me a lot of good stuff. And what happened?
Lynn knows how that, because they used to do it when you didn't have a public person. If we don't know how it's done, it's leave it to me.
Yeah, so I have to bring it up to training. I won't do training. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus.
No, I did that. Live until you die. Because she knows.
They know. I mean, it's not public.
I know, but Lynn knows. still on Valley Grove Road.
Yes, that's where she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, by where Jason's done
Yeah.
used to be.
Yeah.
She was in that
Yeah.
corner, yeah. Yeah, there was, how I rented her was, I was home doing nothing, and I happened to be over to Lynn's, and yes, they were hiring. Oh, I applied for a job.
Oh.
And at Lynn's and things, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
There was Golden Towels. There was a girl that worked over in the house where she was a college student, and she had the prettiest strawberry blonde hair, it was cut short. My hair was short at the time. And I asked her, "What did you get here?" She said, "Oh, this lady that's supposed to be a Jersey Southern." So that's how I found it. Started to go. So I had to follow her all along.
Exactly, when you find somebody that does it,
It's just the sweetest thing.
it's like you can't retire.
I know.
Well, she is, because she was like, you were late to leave.
I think she's only Friday. Because I used to be able to call her. And I could call her Friday. I put it up, I put it in, generally, I put it in first thing Tuesday morning, because I'm retired. So,
Yeah.
got a more flexible schedule to go see her. And now it's like, I think it's just Friday.
Yeah.
Don't get there. And then sometimes Friday, can you come in at 1 and say, oh, yeah, I go, I'll get my hair cut. I'll just sit my time down and it's like 3 hours. Then you drive home on Thursday.
It is traffic.
Coming home from work.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know. Yeah, her husband, one time we went up to their place up in Sunset.
Oh, did you?
We visited up there, me and my husband.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, I was asking, I was asking house for ranch, the farm, because it's killing me.
Well,
He's been having, yeah.
yeah,
I'll tell you, they found someone.
she said, well, when I saw her, it's, yeah, it actually was a success. So that's
It all went well, very pleased with it all.
40 hours? 4,
Yeah.
5 days a week?
No, we do the mail.
Okay.
I work today.
Okay, that's good.
It's supposed to be the mayor in the middle, so he should be over one. Mike should be over one, Pat should be over one, and then, Dr. K and Janet should be on either end. The newest members.
over here,
Yeah, they're supposed to be on either end.
Why?
That's what the ordinance says.
But it's never been done.
Well, that's what the ordinance says.
I know what it says.
Patrick and I talked about it, and he was on council, and he couldn't do anything about it, but he kind of had planned to do something about it, and I think he just forgot.
So you're saying Janet should be over here or Dr.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bonnie, can we go in, when we go in the kitchen?
I don't know,
Interested.
I don't know the why behind when the council that passed that ordinance, what the why was. Other than I'm guessing that they want the mayor in the middle as opposed to closer to this end. And I'm not, I don't know what their thinking was, because I don't have, they didn't put that in minutes, it's just, it's in the ordinance. So I just read the ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I can't tell you the why I why?
But it really makes a difference.
Yeah, there's a council, I don't know if that's tradition. I guess when I think about it,
So you don't know, you don't know. all need to go, I will take those. Yeah. See, I will.
Y'all did a really awesome job. Thank you.
I thought it came together very nice. It really
Oh, I mean, it was a real tribute, and I think that meant a lot to him and to the people who came.
Molly says that, her cupcakes are not going home with her, definitely not. So, what's where the cupcakes? Is right here. Those wonderful things? Yeah. Oh, wow.
So it's wonderful things, like you said, you know, we're not letting it wait, it's
Wonderful things are gonna be, this is right here. We say, why not?
They're awesome.
Oh, thank you guys. They were delicious. Yeah.
That tray, if you can carry it. Leave it over, Joanne, please, 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 please. And be in your bag. I never let that stop.
Are we just bringing everything back to the kitchen?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah.
Chew it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we put some, yeah, we're gonna put it back in the fridge. Yeah. So I was just thinking, what maybe this for this coach. So they got you all over.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I was here, on the night, so.
Here's another officer, what
Noble.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, he would've gotten off at 7 this morning.
So yeah, you probably sleeping. He needs some sleep.
That's what's kind of bad about the night shift, is your day off, you sleep most of the day, you catch up, and then you wake up and it's almost dark.
Right. You can mix it together.
Yeah, that's probably. Just leave it in there, it's going over me. All right. This belongs here.
Yeah. Trying to get their stuff here. I know what happened last year, those big things.
Yeah, the other day, at somebody's house, my sweater, I put in her dishwasher.
What can I do? Did we bring everything? Is everything in from out there? or
Oh,
is that
no.
somewhere? Okay, we're not sure what we're supposed to wear.
When you have one by itself.
It all just comes in.
Okay.
Eventually anyways, since we figure out.
No, mine's nothing's on. This is Mary's. These got wet, so I'm just gonna take them back here and dry them off with something.
Did anybody bring their own silverware or is everything the tank?
No, I have like about 7 or so of like this. I recognize these.
This one?
It's different, see, it's bigger, so I think the majority of those.
So it look alike?
Yeah, that one's not.
It sure looks like it.
It does, it's very similar, but it's a little longer or bigger. Oh, I'm still trying that, yeah. Okay. But they all, I all these are back, so I'm trying to figure out exactly. Why, that's thing, those little coconut biscuits. Dang, I mean, I have to eat them myself. I opened them and then I didn't put them out, because I think I ran out of the third thing there. Wow. They were, they're fun, sweet as a cookie. I like it with that cheese that we did for the women's club with the apricots or the blueberries. Yeah. It's really good. With that.
Are these little foresters? I bet they are.
Yeah, the little dented stuff is, they're the two plastic ones, but I need to go back to TJ Maxx and see if I can get another set of 6 of them.
Is there a container for this again?
There should be a lid to it. I think there were 2 containers. I don't know if they mostly got,
What's that? There, the lid's low.
but there's a white lid, and then the other one didn't fit. Oh, there's, yeah. So we'll have to- Yeah, I was gonna say that's good. I think we're trying to go up that little shell with them, but I think they're trying to be great, so I guess we
Nice and cool out here, though.
You guys made it.
We should play all right down on chairs.
Yeah.
Gosh, y'all stay.
That's what he says.
Mayor until we.
Oh, look at this. I got lemon squares.
Oh, yeah, I just put them there.
Yeah, you want one? My wife made them.
Apparently somebody thought you wanted one or two.
Well, that's, I got,
Oh,
you want one?
no, I'm diabetic. I don't think I should eat it.
Yeah, then we'll be looking for, hey, we'll be looking for another position.
Yeah, you're looking for another position.
Brenda, can you fix the clock? My
It's
PC
3 o'clock.
shut down, so I don't.
Another lady.
I'm gonna talk for 5 minutes again.
It is now 9:27. We will resume the meeting. For those citizens that stayed with us here in the town hall, I thank you. Appreciate that. We had a lot of good dialogue. And for those online, thank you for hanging out as well. We are now going to move on to, after reconvening the meeting, we are now at council and staff announcements and comments, which is item number 10. I'll start over here. Attorney Berman, any comments?
Nothing to report.
All right. Don't forget, we got training coming up.
Oh, except that on August 23, 10 o'clock a.m. here.
20, isn't it the 24th?
Saturday, the
24th.
I'll wait.
We'll be, it'll go out in the Friday update, so.
Okay. All right. Everyone's expected to be here if they want to be here.
Is that also the ordinance training? Or no?
What's the
Because I know
ordinance?
you mentioned like to me before that there needs to be like a formal ordinance training. And I was wondering if we can, at some point, at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what the 23rd is for, it's just
Okay.
general legal background stuff. But we want to do P and Z and BOA and then council. And there's some overlap. We want to do that first. But we can, I mean, if you've got questions dealing with our ordinance specifically, by all means, you bring them on.
Okay.
Yeah. See you all then.
Councilperson Robertson,
No comments, thank you.
Councilperson Rivera,
No comment, thanks.
Councilperson Dietrich,
Nothing additional.
Deputy Mayor Pro Tem,
Nothing.
I got 4 pages.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Nothing. I got nothing.
Lynn,
No, sir.
Ms. Hammond.
I do, I have one more thing. I have lunch with, the SRO from Downing tomorrow. They will give us cards in the event of an active shooter that we
Perfect.
can get into the schools, so.
All right.
We will be getting those before school starts.
Excellent.
Can I ask one more question? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Before Reeves left, he was looking at covers for the police cars. Are we still looking at that, or is that on your plate in some form or fashion?
Not yet, but I guess it looks like I have it on my plate now.
Well, I just, we started looking at it, it
Right.
got pushed back some way, so if I could give you, because you don't have enough to do anyway, if I could ask that you check back into that and see what we could start looking at, because I think that as a council, we would love to see the police cars covered in some form or fashion, and I was somewhere this weekend and saw it and thought, I gotta say something Monday, so, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the work you've done so far and what you'll do. Appreciate it. Randall.
I'm good.
All right. I've only got 8 items. No, kidding. I'm going to reiterate what Chief Gaines said. School starts Tuesday, August 13th. Watch your speed and your use of your cell phones, please, because we will be out in force to ensure that the children are returning to school safely. So hopefully everybody heeds that. I just hit on the security training with the council people to get that done. We talked about the town attorney training on the 24th, and the P&Z and BOA is after that at 11. Both are public sessions, so if the public wants to attend, they can. The only thing I've kind of done with it is that both sessions are open meetings, the public is welcome. However, we may just preparing specific amount of handouts for the people, the BOA, the P&Z, and the council. So we may not have handouts for everybody, but we will have them for the appropriate attendees. And with that said, if there's no other questions or items, thank you again to the Double Oak Women's Club and to Chief Rivas. The meeting is now 26 degrees Celsius.